the Georgia Gym Dogs win the Southeast Regional Tournament and advance to the NC2A Finals for the 23rd consecutive year. We'll have all the highlights next.
And the Dogs' deed is done. What can I say? They were the best. They really stood out. They put it all together that count, and that's what this sport's all about.
And that just may do it for Georgia here tonight.
Wow.
The Gym Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Yocklin. Welcome to the Gym Dog Show. Joining me today is Associate Head Coach Jay Clark. We have just come off of our 18th Southeast Regional Championship win in the last 23 years. It was a great competition here last weekend in Stegman Coliseum as our team advanced to the National Championships, which will be held in Corvallis, Oregon on April 21st. And what's exciting, Jay, is that we're going to go in as the #1 seed. We've been #1 all year long, and we've maintained that coming out of the regional meet with the highest score in the country.
That's right, and the train just keeps rolling. We're undefeated still, and to come out of the meet the way we did with virtually a full point over whoever the next seed is at the national championships, it was a pretty dominant performance, but still one that we feel like we can improve on. We really were not as clean as we'd like to be on all of our landings. Courtney had an off night on 2 events, so we're looking for big things, and hopefully the peak comes at the right time in 2 weeks in Corvallis.
That's right, and what a season it's been. As you know, we won the Southeastern Conference Championships a couple weeks ago, scored a pretty nice score there, but then this past weekend in the regional meet did one even better, scoring a 197.4, I think it was, to finish, as we said already, #1 in the nation going into the national championships. So today we're going to take a look at the highlights from the Southeast Regional competition in Athens, Georgia. Let's take a look at the first rotation. Well, here we are marching to our first event, which will be floor exercise. For this competition, it's a random draw, and all the #1 seeds in the country will start on floor exercise for the first event. This is Abby Stack. She's been our leadoff performer on this event for the last half of the season. And this is great difficulty to start out a competition with a pike pull in right from the beginning. We are really setting that bar high for everyone else in this meet with this level of difficulty right off the bat. Nice triple salto pass right there from Abby, and her last pass is a double pike. And she really blasts it and sets up a nice pass and a great score for Georgia to start out from a 9.85.
Next up is Ashley Kupets. Ashley really has just gotten consistent here on this event of late. She's been slower getting into the lineup this year just because we were trying to keep her fresh for later in the year. You see a huge double pike that she opens with. Ashley's amplitude is really her hallmark on this event. Front handspring, front full to front layout in the middle, very well done. And then she finishes up with her last pass, which is another D-level pass, a round-off back handspring, double tuck. And for the second time in a row, Ashley does a beautiful routine for us. Starting at SEC's last 2 weeks ago, she went 9.9, and this week she goes 9.875.
And third up in the lineup is Tiffany Tolmay. Tiffany has scored a 9.9 on this event 4 times, one being at the SEC Championships. So we're looking to push these scores even higher and build on Ashley's 9.875. Tiffany opens here with a double Arabian and a nice high landing. The judges are looking for a little bit of an opening when you land that tumbling pass. Her middle pass, her front full front layout, meets the requirements of having a C plus bonus in one of the 3 passes. And her last tumbling pass, a D, double pike, and you can see she does that beautifully. And I think this score is going to be higher than the one before, and it ends up being exactly that, a 9.9. A great routine from Tiffany.
Kelsey Erickson up next. She's just begun to get really consistent with this first pass. You can see, if you remember, we upgraded this first pass about 2/3 of the way through the season. Beautiful tuck full in that she lands very, very cleanly there. Comes back in the middle with a very difficult pass. It's a C plus a C, but it's very difficult to go front full to another front full. Extremely difficult pass with 2/10 of bonus, and then finishes with an enormous double tuck that she lands with her chest up high, exactly the way you'd like to see it done, and she goes 9.9, so we're really on a roll at this point, and the scores are building just the way we'd like them to, just as they did at the SEC Championship.
That was a great routine, too. I thought Kelsey could actually have gone higher, but now here comes Katie, and she has just great presentation. Front double full, and she breaks out early. She's supposed to do a front pike out of that, and that'll cost her at least a half a tenth a point because of the execution of her with her legs. Double pike in the middle, nicely done, no deduction. And her last pass, a front full to a front half walkout. Again, nicely done, and no deduction. And Katie scores a 9.85.
And so now in the usual anchor position is sixth up is Courtney Coupette's coming. She's had 2 9.975s of late on this event. And as you can see on this first pass, she does the most enormous Arabian double front, jumps out of bounds right there, and doesn't land it very cleanly, and winds up going 9.6 after the out of bounds. So a tough night for her on floor, but again, the kind of mistakes you'd like to see them make. You'd rather them do that than come in short.
And now we head straight over to our second rotation, which is the vaulting event. You can see the team is really pumped up and ready to go. First up on vaulting will be Katie Heenan. She has scored all the way from a 9.975 this year to a 9.8. And in between, tonight she's in one of those in-between scores. She scores a 9.85 on that vault. It's a Yurchenko with a full twist. Great amplitude, height, and a nice landing, just a small hop on the landing. I think the vault could have scored a little bit higher than that, a 9.85. They obviously took 1/10 for the hop.
Ashley Coupette's up next on vault, round-off entry, half on front pike, enormous vault. You see the hop there on the landing, at least a 10th there on that. A little bit of a discrepancy on the start value from one of the judges, but overall, one of her better vaults that she's done in the last few weeks. You can see the amplitude as she comes off the table. Rise is very, very high. Takes that hop there at the end, but otherwise a very, very good vault, and she goes 9.85 as well.
This is Kelsey Erickson. Last week at the SEC, she scored a 9.95. Tonight, with the same vault, Yurchenko full twist, a 9.9. You can see that she did not stick that landing. Again, the vaulting score is so critical to the stick, and she does take a small hop, which is a half a tenth to a 1/10 deduction. Beautiful height and explosiveness, and the hop on the landing scores at a 9.9.
Courtney Coupette is coming up next. On vaulting here, Courtney does the same vault that her sister does. The half on front pike. You see the direction's a little off there. Courtney got a little bit loose in the middle of her body as she tried to get onto the table and block, and you can see she had a direction problem and ended up taking a step backward. Not one of her better vaults. So through 2 events, Courtney's struggling a little bit tonight, but that's the first time she's struggled all year, so we'll cut her a break. She goes 9.825.
And here's Tiffany Tolnay, one of the best vaulters in the country right now, a 1.5 twisting Yurchenko. Very powerful, very dynamic, difficult, so difficult, even though they're all worth a 10-0 start. This one's definitely harder to do. You can see the height and the dynamics that she needs to be able to twist around 1.5 times. A small hop on the landing, and those hops are costing us some points. Tiffany scores a 9.925, and Georgia looked strong on this event. Scoring on the vaulting event, a 49.35. So we're off to a good start on the first 2 rotations.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By Makar Homes. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Golden Pantry. Golden Pantry, we've got what you need. By the John Bull Stores of the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean. And by Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes Honda, the official car dealer of the Georgia Jim Dogs.
It's official. Honda Cars and Trucks have made history. For the first time ever, Motor Trend Magazine has presented a single automaker with the top 2 awards. The Honda Civic and the Honda Ridgeline are named the 2006 Motor Trend Car and Truck of the Year. The all-new Civic offers a new level of performance and design. And the Ridgeline, it combines toughness, a smooth ride with innovative features. See why it's not just a truck, but a Honda. Learn about the Ridgeline and the new Civic at North Georgia's oldest Honda dealer, Phil Hughes Honda in Athens.
Makar Homes is proud to announce its 50th anniversary. With passion for quality, Makar is committed to customer satisfaction before, during, and after building your home. With over 40 communities around Atlanta, Makar has a plan and neighborhood for any lifestyle, from affordable townhomes to luxurious estates. For more information, visit www.makarhomes.com. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years.
Ask Suzanne, brought to you by McCarr Homes. And this week's question is, now that you've qualified to the national championships, is it just one more meet before you have a chance to win the title? And actually, no. The answer is there's 2 competitions. First on Thursday, in a round of 12, only 6 teams will advance. And then on Friday night, we will have an opportunity to compete for our 7th national championship. That's Ask Suzanne, brought to you by McCarr Homes.
So we're headed over to bars where we've just begun to hit our stride really on that event in the last few meets. Ashley Kupets will be getting us started, and after a rough routine at the SEC Championship, she's warmed up very well and has trained very well since then. Talk to me about what you think is going to happen there.
And you know, the thing about Ashley is she's having a great day. She had a great floor team. She had a great vaulting event. And the momentum is good right now. The audience is behind us. The crowd is into the meet, and we've got a good lead over Nebraska. And what stands out the most to me is that everybody seems pretty relaxed. No one's uptight, and that's important, especially for Ashley and especially to start out bars.
So we're headed over to the bars, and you can see that's the Swim Dogs there that we've supported them during their national championships, and they showed up in numbers to help us get through this one. Getting us started off is Ashley Kupets. And Ashley starts off with very good handstand work, and overall tonight I think our handstand work was very, very good. A little bit late on that first giant full. Good Shushin over there, full twisting Tkachev. Bail to handstand, very nicely done. Comes back to the high bar there. That's a combination bonus there. And she starts with a giant full here. Again, we'd like that to be a little quicker. And just a little hop there on the landing. But overall, a good start. Gets us started off with a 9.8 on the uneven bar.
And this is Nikki Chav. Everyone in the country loves her toe point, her execution. It's beautiful, and I like her aggressiveness on this event. Beautiful 1.5 twists on the high bar to immediate Ginga release. Good amplitude all the way through. Her pirouette work is on top in the vertical position. Overall, I have not seen any deductions yet. A little crooked right there on the turn on the low bar. That might be about a 1/2 tenth. Once again, she gets right to the vertical position. Giant full turn to an immediate double tuck. And Nikki sticks it, which is hard for her to do, and gets a big score for us, a 9.9.
Great routine from Nikki, and Tiffany Tolnay comes up next in the 3rd spot. Tiffany gets started with a giant blind change or a giant half to her major release right there. Jaeger, straddled Jaeger's worth a D. Good handstand work again, and here's where the break is right there. You can see she really has to fight to pull that handstand back. Great fight there. Probably a 10.5 deduction right there. And then finishes up with a lot of difficulty in the last half of her bar routine. A giant full to a blind change to a double front. A little hop there on the landing. But a 9.75 is her score. Kelsey Erickson in the 5 hole. Gets us started off. Good handstand right there. Toe on and off the handstand. You can see she has the same kind of problem that Tiffany had there, but she pulls it back. Not quite as big a problem as Tiffany had. Big Tkachev, another good handstand. Very, very important that you hit vertical this time of year on the handstand. The judges are really looking to see that. Nice pike Jaeger there in the middle. To an overshoot. She's getting ready for her dismount. This routine is packed with difficulty with 2 major releases at an E-level dismount, which is right here. A half-end double front. She sticks her landing, which is very difficult to do because of the blind landing. It's a 9.875, and we're off to the last one.
And here is freshman Courtney Kupets, bronze medalist on the uneven bars from the Olympic Games, and Georgia's anchor on the uneven bars. Courtney has scored 9.975 twice this season. That elusive 10-0 has still not been accomplished by her. Great routine, hop full to the high bar, on the high bar, right to vertical. Back-to-back releases. Great handstand work, and the most important part of any routine is sticking the dismount. Here's her double layout dismount, and a beautiful routine stuck dismount, and she wins this event with a 9.95. And the uneven bar total for Georgia is a 49.325.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I would like to ask Nikki Childs what her favorite magazine is.
Hi, Hannah. Thanks for the question. My favorite magazine is Cosmo because I love looking for new fashion ideas and makeup tips.
If you've been injured in a car accident, make the call thousands have made before you. Arrowhead Clinics.
We're the nation's largest accident treatment centers because we care about our patients.
Some of the best doctors in the profession will treat your injuries immediately and will document your injuries for your insurance company. So make the call because your health is our primary concern.
Remember, having your injuries treated and properly documented are the only ways to receive a fair settlement. At Arrowhead Clinics, we treat you like a person, not just a patient.
The Georgia Gym Dogs are red hot. Hot team. Cool water. Melwood Springs, now available at Golden Pantry. Golden Pantry, we got what you need.
The Golden Moment, brought to you by Golden Pantry. And this week's Golden Moment is the regional championships itself, where Georgia not only wins the meet, but holds on to our #1 seeding. That's our Golden Moment, brought to you by Golden Pantry. Welcome back. I love bars. I thought our team showed a lot of grit, a lot of fight. They wanted it, and you can tell that we're in postseason right now. Earlier in the year, those routines might have been ones that the girls quit on, but today they are fighting for every 10th, and I think they look great.
Absolutely. Tiffany and Kelsey both had to fight to stay on the bar after they got into those arch positions on handstands, and that shows you a lot. They were aggressive mistakes. They were going for their handstands, and those are the kinds of things you like to see this time of year. That's a sign of a team that's about ready to explode and really hang one on you. So I'm really excited about what I saw, particularly from those two on the
and Nikki, too. I mean, what about Nikki on bars? I mean, she was absolutely beautiful, and for her to score 9.9 for us, that was certainly, one of the highlights of that event. Now we head over to balance beam. Again, we've got the lead. I mean, we're pretty far ahead of second-place Nebraska right now, so the team will be pretty relaxed going into this event. And so far this season, we've done really well on the balance beam. It's definitely been one of our strongest events under pressure. No pressure today, but let's see how they compete when there is no pressure on balance beam.
So we're headed over to beam. You can see the girls holding up the 4. Sort of a Georgia tradition. The crowd's holding up the 4 as if the 4th quarter, and in this case, the 4th event. That started with football, and Kelsey gets us started off in the traditional spot that she's in. Front tuck to a wolf jump for bonus right away on her mount. Her series is a flip-flop layout. A little bit of a balance check there. Switch leap, big check there on the straddle jump. And then finishes up with her dismount, which is a cartwheel layout gainer full that she usually sticks, and she does here as well, and goes 9.825.
And up second on beam is Audrey Bowers. You can see Georgia's beam lineup has not changed in the last 5 competitions. We feel that it's very important to keep the same lineup going, especially during postseason. So Audrey's second up. She hits her flight with 2 layouts in it. Now she comes back with her leap combination, meeting her requirement here. Again, very nicely done so far. No major breaks for Audrey. And her dismounts a round-off double twist. She has trouble sticking it usually, and again, takes that step to the side, 1/10 deduction, and Audrey scores a 9.85.
And Nikki Childs up third. And again, Nikki's line and toe point and look shows through on this event, much like it does on the uneven bars. You can see the very unique mount that Nikki does. Good series there, flip-flop layout, very well done. Comes back with a switch ring. It's a very difficult skill. That's a D-level skill as well. A little bit of a balance check there, but not too bad. And there's her moonwalk that gets the crowd kind of fired up. Wolf jump, a little bit of a check to a double stag ring, which is another D. And then there's the front aerial, a little bend at the hip there. That's probably going to cost her a 10th. And then she finishes up with her pike gainer off the end of the beam, sticks the landing, and goes 9.825.
And here's Tiffany Tolnay. Tiffany's having a great competition so far. 9.9 on floor, 9.925 on vaulting. A little bit of a problem on uneven bars, and now here she is on what I think is her best event, the balance beam. She has great amplitude, very aggressive, how she attacks the beam and really gets up in the air on all of her jumps and flips. Here's her front tuck, and you can see she lands relatively high and not in a low squat as so many gymnasts do. Her leap combination, switch leap to an immediate straddle jump, nicely done, great amplitude. And now she gets ready for her dismount, which is very difficult. Back handspring, double tuck, takes the step on the dismount, but overall no other deductions shown. A great routine for a score of only a 9.85.
And in the fifth spot, Courtney Kupets, who struggled on the first two events but comes back on bars and now on beam with a great performance. You see her series there, flip-flop, layout, layout. This is probably the most difficult routine in the country on the balance beam. So our switch side, there's her punch front, a little bit of a balance check there on the punch front. Fortunately, she does not need to connect that because she has so many other things in this routine to get her bonus. Switch leap to a gainer layout. Very well done. You can see Courtney's just really, really solid on the balance beam tonight. And she finishes up with flip-flop, double tuck that she just about sticks a little bit of a shift to that right foot and goes 9.9 and a great, great routine and way to finish out for Courtney on this night.
And here's Katie Heenan. She's our superstar on balance beam under pressure in the anchor position, has posted many, many, many 9.95s to bring Georgia to a win in close meets. Now, this competition is not as close. We've already pretty much sealed the victory. But Katie, once again, in the anchor position, trying to build on the scores that have preceded her. Courtney's 9.9 right before her, and we'd like to try to build the scores, and that's why Katie's in this position. Not only is she solid on the beam, but Katie can stick her dismount. Here's her front tuck. Everything so far looks great. No major bobbles or mistakes. And she's getting ready to finish the routine with a round-off double full. And even though this routine has less difficulty than Courtney's, she meets all of the requirements, has the 10-0 start value, and most importantly, Katie can and does stick her dismount. Here she is with the round-off double twist. Nice solid landing, you can see, for a big finish and a score of 9.95. So Georgia's balance beam set was a 49.375 for a great event for Georgia, finishing the competition with a 197.425. Routine of the week brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, and this week's routine is Abby Stack on the floor exercise as she starts off our team and scores a 9.85. That's Abby Stack for Routine of the Week, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center.
I'm sorry, honey, I know it hurts. Oh, x-rays, they don't hurt at all. It's like a magic eye that looks inside of your body to see if anything's broken. This is where Hannah came to get her stitches out last year, remember? Of course, honey, Mommy will be with you the whole time. And remember, Mommy wouldn't take you here if it wasn't the best place in the whole world.
Athens Regional Medical Center, a passion for medical excellence. Drop by drop, pure, refreshing. A trickle becomes a stream, flowing from the source. Refreshing, fresh, in the store or at your door. Millwood Springs.
Countdown to the NC2A is brought to you by Melwood Springs, and as you can see, we are in the evening session on the first day of the national championships with the number 2 seed Arizona State, the number 4 seed Florida, also Iowa State, Oregon State, and Arkansas round out that 6, and only 3 of those teams will advance to the Super 6 on Friday. And that's Countdown to the NC2A is brought to you by Melwood Springs.
Well, there you have it. The Georgia team wins again, 18th Southeast Regional Championship in 23 years. We go in as the number 1 seed to the Nationals. And the same time we were competing, there were 5 other regionals going on at the same time. Out of our region, of course, Georgia, second place Nebraska. But out of the other regions around the country, there were some upsets.
Absolutely. A little bit of a shakeup this year with UCLA being one of the most dominant programs over the last 7 or 8 years. Not going to the national championships for the first time since the inception of the Super 6 format, which was in 1993.
And they got beat by who?
Arkansas.
First time ever for Arkansas to go to the national championships with their first senior class, so it's exciting for them, disappointing for UCLA, and then, of course, the other upset.
The other California team that everybody expected to be there was Stanford, who had some trouble on the balance beam and then again on the floor. Just really kind of a disturbing thing for them to see that happen. But Oregon State, who's the host team, who a lot of people didn't think had much of a chance of getting in, they get in. So it's going to be a little bit some different faces with them and Iowa State and some various teams that haven't been there in a while. So it's good for the sport, I think, to see things mix up a little bit.
It's good for the sport for it to mix up as long as we're still in there.
That's right.
But, you know, you can see from what happened around the country, there's so much parity now. And even the top teams in the country cannot afford, you know, those 2 falls on the same event, or it can cost you a lot. And in the case of UCLA and Stanford, it cost them a trip to the NC2As. But enough of that. We're going on to Corvallis, Oregon as the number 1 seed. Excited. The number 2 seed ends up being Arizona State, who we have not seen yet this season. So we've got a week to prepare, and then we head over to Corvallis. We'll see you next week with our lead-up highlights to the NCAAs.
The Jim Dog Show has been brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By Makar Homes. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Golden Pantry. Golden Pantry, we've got what you need. By the John Bull stores of the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean. And by Bill Hughes Honda. Bill Hughes Honda, the official car dealer of the Georgia Gym Dogs.